The world has just narrowly avoided the breakout of an all-out war. That's not a small feat. It's a significant achievement for both NATO and Russia to avoid exchanging bullets and missiles at the drop of a hat. Given how delicate the situation had become after Ukrainian missiles struck Poland, killing 2 people, it's a miracle that we aren't facing a world war right now. Now, we know exactly what happened. Ukrainian air defense missiles hit Poland. Yes, it was the Ukrainian air defense missiles that hit Poland. But what the Ukrainian leadership chose to do after that was shocking, even for its NATO friends. You see, Ukraine accused Russia of striking Poland militarily and called for a resolute NATO response against Moscow. Ukraine did so without proof. It had no evidence that Russian missiles struck Poland, but its call for NATO to attack Russia was clear as a sunny day. Watch for yourself.
Я приєднався до саміту, щоб представити наші пропозиції, як відновити мир і міжнародний порядок. Світ почув Україну, учасники G19 робили свої заяви. А потім в Москві вирішили, що можуть знову спробувати терором досягти того.
Deliberate or undeliberate, Ukraine created a giant mess. President Zelensky failed to do due diligence and was quick to make statements that could have sparked a world war. And it was the United States that had to clean up this mess to prevent a direct war between NATO and Russia. The inside story on the same matter from Bali. You see, US President Joe Biden was asleep in Indonesia's Bali when the missiles hit Poland. He, along with the most powerful leaders of the world, were attending the G20 summit. Biden was woken up by his aides and told that Poland, a NATO member state, had just been struck by missiles. This was a crisis like never before. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's door was knocked around 4 a.m. in the morning. The dreadful news was shared with him too, and he immediately called up his Polish counterpart to take stock of the situation. Later, he joined Joe Biden and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan for a call with President Andrzej Duda of Poland. By now, reports of Poland having been struck had become public. Social media trends were replete with World War III rhetoric. People thought a big war had just been started by Russia, and NATO was now bound to respond. But the US urged allies to remain cautious. The US knew what a NATO-wide war with Russia would look like. It would bring the world to the brink of a nuclear war. That's a scenario that the US, and to some extent even Russia, have been trying to avoid. So when Vladimir Zelensky started calling for NATO to respond to Russia immediately after the missiles landed in Poland, the US was horrified. How could a country be so immature? Immediately, Jake Sullivan dialed Zelensky's office and told the Ukrainian regime to tone down their rhetoric and wait for more information to come out. Zelensky wanted a call with Joe Biden to discuss the situation. But the White House refused to entertain the Ukrainian president's request, and the 2 leaders have still not spoken to each other. That makes one aspect of the entire fiasco very clear. President Biden is not happy with Zelensky. Meanwhile, the US dialed up NATO allies and told them to remain calm and wait for more information to come out. As the morning set in and more intelligence came in, it became clear to American officials examining satellite-based intelligence systems and speaking to their Polish counterparts that the missile had not been launched by Russia, but came from Ukraine. Biden informed NATO leaders about the findings and bluntly told them that the missile that landed in Poland was indeed Ukrainian and not Russian. Here's what he then told the press.
There is preliminary information that contests that. I don't want to say that till we completely investigate, but it's unlikely.
Now, Ukraine was outraged. Its claims of Russia attacking Poland were publicly being refuted by its own allies. Zelensky then resorted to countering NATO and the USA's claims of the missile being Ukrainian. And this is what he said.
I have no doubt that this is not our missile, not our strike. There is no sense for me to trust them. I went through war with them, and with you. I don't, to put an end to it, but I have my opinion.
Essentially, what was supposed to bring Ukraine even closer to its allies ended up annoying Western leaders and diplomats about how Zelensky was trying to get NATO involved in a war with Russia. Take this for example. A NATO official hit out at the Ukrainian regime saying, "This is getting ridiculous. The Ukrainians are destroying our confidence in them. Nobody is blaming Ukraine and they're openly lying. This is more destructive than the missile." So do you think Ukraine